Okay, we are live now. Welcome everyone. Welcome to Entab presents CampusCare EdTalks, where pioneers from the education industry come on board to provide their valuable insights on burning topic related to education. So, first of all, let me introduce you to Entab. Entab is a 20 years old IT company which provides mature and futuristic ERP, CRM, and mobile apps. Entab has been associated with over 1,500 schools across India, providing them to become new age digital campuses and thereby helping them to transform from good schools to great ones. In today's session, we'll discuss that how can schools help children who are confused about their sexuality. We'll also understand that how can schools discuss sensitive topics like sexuality in the classroom and create awareness about different genders. We'll also learn the role of parents in the whole process of identifying one's body. To discuss the same, we have Miss Pooja Panthri, the principal ma'am of DCM Senior Secondary School, Ferozepur, Punjab. In her educational journey, ma'am has served as an educator, counselor, and motivational speaker for more than 2 decades. Ma'am is also a medalist in physics with a specialization in electronics. So, welcome to the show, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. So, moving forward, so Pooja, ma'am, this is a very sensitive thing that we are about to discuss today. uh, where even adults are not also completely aware. So, in your school, like, how do you discuss important topics such as sexuality?
All right, Megha. So, see, the gender that one is born into and the orientation one has is an extremely normal and natural process. However, the fact that you just referred to it as extremely sensitive speaks a lot about the general perception around a very fundamental physiological principle, right?
Right.
So basically, there aren't any major interventions required except the general sensitization, mutual respect, and most importantly, age appropriate dissemination of information. You know, the last thing we want is to leave our kids more confused than informed. Yeah. So, at the
Agree.
preliminary level, it would start with an awareness of their physical forms, the importance of different organs, and the similarities as well as the differences that account for the gender diversity we see around us. Right. The illustrations may differ again as per the target age group. As I told earlier, it has to be age appropriate. The fine balance lies. For example, I'll tell you, let's say mothers need to nurse their babies. This is very easily understood by even the kindergarten students. Why? Because maybe of their own experience, which was not very far back, or maybe they have a younger sibling. So, very, very easily understood by them. Whereas for an older age group, when we tell them mothers are required to carry the child before they are born, that gives them a better understanding of the differences in the reproductive systems of the two genders. So the whole idea is that whatever the age group, it remains paramount that right from the kindergarten to the high school, the information needs to be disseminated in a sensitized way, which leaves them with a sense of assurance, security, and respect for their own physical forms as well as for those who are around them. There is also, I feel, a need to redesign the curriculum content in order to incorporate gender sensitivity. Like, I'll give you a very simple example, shifting from conventional color assignments, the classic pink and blue, or a very simple shift like replacing the word guys with a more gender neutral word, folks. Now, this could actually go a long way in achieving what we as educators are looking forward to. Yeah,
Yes.
so that's my take on this. Yes.
Yeah, very well said, ma'am. So, like moving forward, so ma'am, the children in our audience would like to know that when and how to whom, when and to whom a child should go if they feel uneasy and uncomfortable about their body, or they are confused in any aspect.
Right. So, see, Megha, let me just talk it generally, whether it is the kids, whether it is the grown-ups, whether it is you, me, our previous generations. The fact remains unchanged that growing up in itself, right, not just biologically, but mentally and emotionally also. So, having these feelings of discomfort or confusion, they are only natural. That is the first thing to understand. Not that we must feel that there is something wrong with us, that we feel this kind of a discomfort. It is only natural. Rather, if we did not have it, then there is something to worry about. So, as I said, growing is definitely a complex process. It's a combination of biological, mental, and emotional growth, right? Again, adolescence, when we talk about it, as such, it isn't the same experience for all the kids. Now, here, individual differences have to be taken into consideration. While some of them might just breeze through it, there is a larger majority whose maybe later stages of their lives they did very well and became the personalities they got known for. But particularly this period of adolescence, I would not be surprised if a majority would admit that wasn't exactly a easy breeze for them, rather a certain kind of a struggle. There are many factors. There's peer pressure. There's this pressure of fitting in, and of course there's so many uncertainties. These uncertainties are related to career choices, the academic performances, the competitive exams, and so on. You just name it and it is there, and there's so much that our adolescent is going around.
Right, ma'am.
Now, add to this the compounded stress of those children who also at the same time feel confused about their orientation, who are unsure about the genders they find themselves they are born in, to what they feel inside of them. So, it's like having a skeleton in your closet, right? And only you are privy to it. So, what happens is they find themselves in uncomfortable, tricky situations where their peers, they talk about their feelings, their relationships. But for the fear of being ridiculed, makes them just pretend, as if they also feel the same.
Right, right.
So this sort of compounds the anxieties and the stress of these children. And let me remind you here, Megha, that orientation is not a choice. And it's not that I say it, it is proven. It's proven research by American Academy of Pediatrics as well as the American Psychological Association. I'll tell you, you have as much of a choice in it as you would have over your height or the color of your skin, right? So you wish you could choose. Huh? Everybody would wish they could choose, but we are just born with it. And you deserve to be accepted for what you are born with. That's the least everyone deserves, right?
Right.
So it could be anyone from where the acceptance would come. Could be a friend, could be from family, could be a guide, a mentor. There is no set parameter or a restriction as to this is where the child needs to go. It is all about from where the acceptance would come. Anyone who could be trusted for not being judgmental and prejudiced. So trust is the keyword here. The trust where you feel safe to come out, the trust that you would not be ridiculed, or the worse, rejected. This fear of rejection is what
And
looms
the trust also, ma'am, that you won't be judged, right?
absolutely trust that you will not be judged, right? There would not be a prejudice, a bias against you. You will not be ridiculed. And the worst, as I said, is rejection, the fear of rejection. You would not be rejected. So, see, what I mean is that we need to grow as a society. If we cannot accept our own, what good are we as a society? That remains questionable. If our own do not feel safe within our own systems, then I believe, Megha, it is high time to rethink and redefine. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. I agree to what all you said. Then, yeah, moving forward. So, ma'am, in terms of like accepting one's own identity, how important is the role of parents and how they can open their minds and break the stereotypes they have had?
You named the word here, stereotypes, right? So, of course, the role of the parents is extremely important. I would say, I would put it at number one, the role of the parents. Charity has to begin from home. Yeah. But surprisingly, parents have been found to be responding in a variety of ways. There is no uniform kind of a response we can assign to a parent when they are faced with a situation like this in their own families, or let's say in the own home itself. So while some cases would see the parents, they're all out in support of the child and their choices, and that of course is the ideal situation to go about it. It gives the child, the kind of back they are looking for, and then facing the society and the peers and the other things only becomes very much easier when they know that they are accepted
Yes,
back.
ma'am. So basically, what happens? The basic concern of the parents. Yeah, so I was saying the basic concern is like दुनिया वाले क्या कहेंगे, society क्या कहेगी. They're concerned more
Right.
about society.
So yeah, this is what I was coming at, that this would be the ideal scenario, and I would not say that it is zero. There are parents out there who would give this kind of support to their child, but more often than not, this ratio is a very, very skewed one, right? So generally what you would see around is, as you mentioned, the stereotype, the typical stereotype, and the kind of remarks the child would get is, okay, you'll get over it, don't worry, yeah, it is just a passing phase, you will grow out of it, and then some of them would say that, oh, it's more of a trend nowadays, so it's very trendy, everybody is speaking about all this kind of a nonsense, and you feel you are very hip when you are trying to speak of things like this. And as you mature, you will understand that what is the right way of going about with life. And then some would directly question their child, are you keeping some bad company? Right. So the responses might vary throughout the spectrum, but all of these responses are, I tell you, kind of to look the other way. The underlying emotion behind all these responses is that we are just not ready to acknowledge. We are, the rhino is right there, but we are looking the other way. We are trying to sort of dismiss it, that no, this is not happening in my family. No ways. It is just that the child is temporarily on a wrong track and would be shifting gears with our correct kind of a guidance. So this doesn't help. Rather, it makes matters worse. What the child is expecting here is, or what the child needs here, acceptance. Now, acceptance would only come before acknowledgement. First of all, you need to acknowledge for what it is, and then only you will be able to accept it. And what the child is getting, imagine, they are getting denial, outright denial by the parent. No, this can't be. And the worst, as I told you, rejection. And sometimes in some families, you would see the parents going for blame, self-blame. They feel that something wrong with their parenting methods. हम में कोई कमी रह गई थी, the kind of thing that we were not able to sort of put you on the right track. By right, what they mean is the majority that they see around them. And sometimes it's a mutual blame. The parents themselves would fall into a trap of mutually blaming each other. That say, I always told you, but you never paid attention. I always felt that something was not right with this child. but you were so busy in your own self, and then now look what you're facing right now. So this kind of self-blame, a mutual blame, or a kind of trying to nudge the child out of it. Now these things are definitely all futile attempts to look the other way. But thankfully now there is a lot more awareness, organizations, support groups. So there is a lot of not just information available, but a lot of counseling available.
Exactly.
And interestingly, the counseling is needed lesser for the child and more for the parents.
Right.
Yeah, so they are the ones who, yes, so they are the ones who need to be counseled first to come out of the stereotype and deal with the reality with dignity and acceptance. So I added a word here. I said acknowledgement, I said acceptance, and now I'm saying dignity. That is very, very important, right? So we need to have the open minds and the open hearts to accept our children for who they are. In today's day and time, in the modern fabric of society, there should not be a place for shaming, and that too for something which someone is born with. And, as I always tell my kids, is not an apology, right? The body is not an apology. It might be different. And then what is our criteria of difference? That you're not falling into the majority. Basically, it is the ratio representation. So where you see a large ratio representing a certain orientation, the smaller ratio is treated as just different. But it is certainly not criminal. So the onus is on us. Let us not leave our children with a sense of guilt by our faulty ways of dealing with it. They don't fail us, Megha. We ourselves do.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for beautifully explaining this sensitive topic, for beautifully portraying your views upon this. So, Pooja ma'am, it was a great time having you with us. So, thank you so much for being a part with us. And
absolute pleasure.
Thank you, ma'am. So, to all my viewers who are watching us, if you haven't subscribed our channel yet, so please go and do subscribe our channel to get the regular updates. Till then, stay happy, stay safe. Okay, bye bye.